It's probably safe to say that most people that use Linux as their personal computer's primary operating system have had to use a terminal emulator at some point. Well, in this video, I'm going to walk you through the basics of how to install and do basic configuration on the terminal emulator that I am currently using, ST. If you're new to this channel, my name's Wesley. I make videos about Linux-related topics, so if that's something that interests you, consider subscribing to the channel. Brief overview of what ST is. So ST stands for Suckless Terminal. There's a group of developers on the internet that develop Linux apps that are called suckless apps. Basically, they write simple, minimalistic applications without bloat. There's plenty of information you can read online and plenty of other videos online about suckless applications, but I'm just going to walk you through the basics of how to install and configure ST, which is their terminal emulator application. Now remember, ST is super minimalistic. So to make any configuration changes to ST, you actually have to modify the C header file and recompile the application. I personally like having to go through those steps to do configuration because it discourages me from wasting a lot of time making a bunch of configuration changes, and I stick to doing work instead of being distracted with a ton of features and possible configurations. So my philosophy behind using various tools at this time, and this is all subjective, so if you've got a different opinion, I respect that. Generally, I like to use applications that have a minimal set of features, and that set of features only contain the necessary features that I personally will be using. For example, there's a lot of terminal emulators out there that have tabbing available where you can open new tabs for the terminal emulator. Well, I'm generally either using a terminal multiplexer like tmux or DVTM, which allows you to basically take one terminal emulator and split multiple shell instances in one terminal emulator. Or I use my window manager to manage all of my terminal emulator instances. So I'll just open multiple windows. Anyway, let's get into it. So first you're going to need to make sure you've got Git installed. What you'll need to do is run git clone with a URL for the Git repository of ST. You can find that URL on the Suckless website, and I'll also post a link in the description. So I've already cloned ST to my machine, and I'm sitting in that directory right now. So here's ST's source files. So what you're going to want to do first you need to make sure that you've got the necessary compiling prerequisites installed. Usually I think that's only going to be GCC and make. I'll put the list of dependencies in the description. But all you need to do is run make, and that will compile the executable, hopefully without any problems. So now in your directory you should have an ST executable. So you should just be able to run that executable and your terminal emulator opens. Now, by default, the font is pretty small. I prefer the font to be a little bit bigger. So I'm going to exit that, and I'm going to edit the config.h file, which is where most configuration changes are going to be made. Font colors are mostly in the st config file, as well as any extra keyboard shortcuts that you might want. For more complex configuration changes like adding transparency or scroll back, which ST does not come with by default, you're going to either need to install a patch that is available on the ST website. I actually found that some of the patches cannot be applied to the master branch, so you might need to make some changes to the patch itself before you apply it, or just modify the source code yourself to add the necessary features that you're looking for. But all I want to do is increase the font size to probably 16, save and close, and then make again, and execute it. I'm okay with this font size, so I'm going to leave it with that. Generally, those are the only configuration changes that I make. Sometimes I do like to change the font itself to like some Font Awesome or Nerd Font. You can find a whole lot more about what features ST does have and the goals of the application the goals the developers have in mind for the application itself on the ST website. And again, I'll post a link in the description for that. So if there's a terminal emulator you really like using, be sure to comment below and let me know, because I'm always interested to find new tools and try them out. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. Be sure to like it if you did, and subscribe if you're not already, and we'll see you in the next video. Do you like how I have a Google logo on my computer? I thought that was pretty funny.